Hello, everybody. So, I've been thinking a lot about faithfulness. One of the things that I do, I bring communion to two of the memory care places in Beaverton, Brookdale, and now Waterhouse Ridge. Waterhouse was closed down quite a bit after uh, COVID, and so it took a long time to get that back up and running with management changes and things like that. It hasn't been very successful, and I actually was able to do a community service there last week. Thanks be to God. We have a very small number of Catholics there. Right now, I think three that the management has kind of discovered, but we can only grow on that, right? But Brookdale, in particular, I think about it because of Brookdale. We have some very loyal Catholics there, good Catholics that, despite the memory issues and all of that, are very faithful and appreciate communion, look forward to the fact that we come. And it points out to me something that I'd like all of us to think about. Faithfulness is a gift, right? So we're given the gift of our faith and given the choice to live it or not. And I think the truth about that, the more I live my faith, the more I have a taste for faith and holiness. The less I live my faith, the less I have a taste for it. And I think worse than that, I think it's easy for us to forget what that means to us. So the Catholics that I see at Brookdale, one woman in general, Ellen, she said, when I moved here, I didn't know what I was going to do about going to church. Well, now church comes to her. And all of the others that tend to come, again, like there's a handful of about 12. There's more than that. There's about 23 Catholics that we know about, but there's about 12 that we see with consistency. And again, their faithfulness astounds me. I make them work. So we listen to a little bit of scripture, and then I ask them to tell us what we're going to pray for. And they amaze Julie Michelson, and myself. We go every week, and we are amazed at the prayers that come out of their mouth. And the things that they ask us to pray for, and the faithfulness that's elicited from the request. So I say this because we have a choice. So about whether or not we believe, practice all of that. And what we're asked to do as a I can't say it, practicing Catholic is almost nothing. Go to Mass once a week, receive communion at least once a year during the Easter season, going to confession at least once. The list is piddly, okay? To be a really good Catholic takes more, takes our heart. So what I see in these faithful people, they know by heart one prayer, the Our Father. And despite the memory stuff and whatnot, even the non-Catholic Christians that I pray with remember that prayer. So I want us to think about that. St. Augustine says something very beautiful about the prayer. He reminds us that when you and I pray that prayer with our own voice, that what God hears is the voice of his Son, because it was Jesus, his Son, who taught us how to pray. And I hear that in the memory folk that I see each week, that we say the Our Father and they all join in. Imagine if we ingrained in our own memories so much of our faith that despite the ravages of time and all that makes us frail, or what's the opposite of lucid? It's not inlucid anyway, but you know what I mean. If when we lose our faculties, the things that we have ingrained in ourselves that mean something to us, we don't lose. So on this looks a little cloudy day, I would just invite all of us to be what God created us to be. We were created in the likeness and image of God and asked to be ultimately a follower of Jesus Christ. And in following, to be faithful, and in faithfulness, to live ultimately in heaven with Him. And in the meantime, aim for it. So I'll see you at Mass. So it's our parish feast day this weekend. So again, we've ended the Easter season, but we have all of these big solemnities the next handful of Sundays. And this week is our parish feast day. See you at Mass. God bless you.